everybody. I'm Joe Pryweller, Director of Conference and Event Content for Tire Business. Welcome to this session of Ask the Expert. These sessions are your chance to engage live with professionals on a range of topics and to interact with questions. Today's Ask the Expert is sponsored by Optimize Social Media. Our expert today is John Napoli, Web Director of Optimize. In this session, John will offer tips to educate tire dealers about the effective use of social media reviews and recommendations to promote your business. John will answer your questions after the presentation. To submit a question, email tbevents@crane.com, or if you're watching along on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, you can submit a question via those platforms. With that, I will turn things over to John Napoli of Optimize Social Media. John, the floor is yours.
Thank you for that great introduction, Joe. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for making time today investing in your business. Got some great information to share with everyone. And as we know in this industry, we like to educate and keep educating. Today, we're going to talk about how to drive personal recommendations using social media. In 2022, hopefully, we are all aware of how reviews can and do affect our business, especially with cell phones and mobile directories and being able to update those on the fly with your experience when they come into your shop. So let's get started. I know everyone's time is valuable. So how to drive personal recommendations using social media. I'm having technical issues already. Sorry about that. Joe, can you tell me if my slides are changing, sir?
Hi, John. They're not quite advancing yet. Sorry about that. Well, give us a minute here, and we'll fix that anyway. Maybe there you go. Looks like the next slide is up now.
Don't know what was happening. Thank you for your patience. So, again, a little background about who is Optimize Social Media, Optimize Digital Marketing. We were created in 2012 to help automotive businesses succeed on social media. We help over 3,000 locations. And I really like to specify that we are specialists working exclusively in the automotive industry on social media and reputation. And we have over 70 employees in Oakdale, Minnesota. A little bit about myself. I am the relationship ambassador, the web director at Optimize Social Media. This is my 22nd year in the industry, working specifically with websites and digital marketing. Served on the board of directors for the North Central Tire Dealers and love helping to educate our industry and keeping them striving and thriving online with their digital marketing. So today's agenda: why are these recommendations on social media valuable? Which platforms are most important? How do reviews and recommendations work on each platform? Proven ways to get more recommendations and reviews. So first question: why are recommendations on social media valuable? Well, the most common thing I hear from business owners over the years, when I ask them what they do for marketing, they all say word of mouth is our marketing. Well, the new word of mouth, Joe, is online reviews. More than 8 out of 10 people look at reviews before even reaching out to a business. So if you don't have reviews or platforms where people can see your reviews, you're disqualifying a whole lot of customers right off the bat. The most common thing I hear, not only are reviews themselves important, but having more reviews makes your business more trustworthy in the eyes of a customer. So let's think about it this way. If you have less than 10 reviews across all your platforms, it's another reason for your customers to move on in their search. So having a lot of reviews is important, but as a business owner, you also need to be responding quickly and appropriately. Not responding to a customer review is like not saying you're welcome when someone in your shop says thank you. It just doesn't look good on you. If you think about if you're not responding to negative reviews, there's only one side of the story online being told. Going back to my point about word of mouth, it isn't just about the chatter that's going on, but how much potential clients value that talk. People listen when other people review businesses online, even if those people are strangers. Lastly, the one that we all care about most, if your business has good reviews, it's more likely that customers going to spend more money. It's always a great thing. So we get into which social media platforms are most important. Obviously, Facebook is still a huge influence in the online world. Compared to other platforms, Facebook, Meta, it's still one that people choose to spend their free time on. People are scrolling through their feeds. They're looking at friend photos, interacting with others. Many users at this time on Facebook, at any point, they're on their phones or desktop, and it presents businesses with an opportunity to build their brand passively, which is a great thing about building that organically through posting and such. Google My Business, this is an example of Google Insights for one of our customers. As a discovery platform, really there's no better place than Google for customers to find information about your business. And when we talk about discovery searches, we're talking about things like auto repair near me or brake replacement in McGregor, Minnesota. Actions like the phone calls, website visits, map views, those all translate into potential customers, right? Phone calls and foot traffic. And then filling out information on GMB can actually lead to almost, in this case, 60 passive actions every single month. Very simple way to make it easy for your customers to find out more about you and request information. Yelp, while a little more region specific, it's another platform that users flock to in order to get first impressions and make decisions, whether or not to even frequent a business. When it comes to purchase intent, Yelp is also a top contender, as 8 in 10 Yelp users are there because they're trying to buy something. An important thing to remember is that Yelp reviews and map searches integrate with Apple Maps, so iPhone users are inherently influenced more by Yelp. So how do these reviews and or recommendations work on each platform? So if we look at Facebook, it still has a hybrid system when it comes to their review system. There's pages that have reviews, which you can see are simple star ratings. Historically, these are, low. Historically, these are how customers gave their opinions on how good or bad a business experience was. However, Facebook recently is moving to a recommendation system that encourages a bit more communication across the Facebook platform, whereas reviews, they used to be a bit more contained in one specific tab, right? And how we're starting to see these, one of our great customers, Mike at Duxler Libertyville, here's an example of what a recommendation looks like as Facebook slowly makes this transition. You can see there's no star rating, but Facebook has made recommendations more of a priority in the user's news feed. That's important because the news feed is where people scroll to get updates from friends, family, and other things they're interested in. So hopefully recommendations, they're going to be inherently more organically valuable compared to reviews. So we want to try to leverage the power of influential people or names in your area to push those recommendations further. The great thing that Facebook is moving over to as well with these user profiles, you can actually then click on the person's name and you're going to be able to see recommendations in the reviews given tab. And what's great about this is you can use your friends or other users' opinions of businesses that way. And it's another great way Facebook is leveraging the power of user interactions to push recommendations. This is another feature. It isn't available to everyone, but we have seen users be able to request recommendations from their followers or other users in a group. Here's a real life example of a Facebook user looking for recommendations in a specific area. The comments on the right pull in business profiles and even the review ratings associated with them. Now that user has a list of friend recommended businesses they can narrow their search down to. Another great reason to make sure your reviews and recommendations look great. So as far as pure reach and influence go, your Google reviews will probably be seen by the most people out of all the platforms we talk about today. Most people use Google to search for literally everything, right? It's a verb. It's super important to make sure your reviews here are positive, because in the example to the right, you can see the review rating number is associated with each business. So Google shows a little snippet of reviews if they correspond to the search, and Android phones use Google Maps by default. So, it's another segment of the population that is reached passively through your business Google reviews. On Google, users do have the ability to rate their experience on a 1 to 5 scale. Those reviews become public on your GMB business profile. And then once you have a number of reviews, Google starts to pull in keywords that are used often in your reviews. And you can see in the example, the words warranty, price, and quality are all highlighted so that people can see those common words that people use within the review. Great for being able to select things when you're looking for quality or warranty with those automotive repairs as a consumer. And lastly, you can also see some of those users that left a review. It says local guide next to their name, which means they've left a lot of trustworthy, local, and legitimate reviews. People trust local guides more than regular Google users, so the more reviews you can get from local guides, the better as well. Yelp does work similarly to Google, where the reviews are housed on that specific platform and they show up in a map and card view when a user searches in an area. So if you look at how the search shows auto repair transmission and the search results highlight those specific things, the first two show auto repair, the third highlights transmission. The map view, though, pulls in those top results and influences Apple directions through Siri. Going back to Yelp being a more region-specific platform, West Coast users definitely find more value in Yelp because that's where it started. Yelp also looks similar to Google, where users can leave a 1 to 5 star review. Those reviews are attached to a username, and then other users are able to see that user's review history. As I showed you before, the keywords users use pull into those Yelp search results. One thing that differentiates Yelp, though, and I love this, is when users come back and review a business multiple times, Yelp shows those reviews along with the dates those were left. So if you think about this, it's more proof for when a new customer, even an existing customer, goes to those profiles and they're convinced to go to that business. If I see a local customer or a loyal customer that's left multiple reviews over years, it's pretty convincing you do great work and you're a trustworthy shop. So, $1 million question. How do we get more reviews and recommendations? Ask in person. This seems like an obvious answer, but I still think it's the one that's most underutilized by business owners. If you think of the scenario, right? People go to your business to complete a service, but they keep coming back because of you or other relationships they've built with your employees. That's why asking them directly is so effective. So after completing a service, you should always be asking your customers if they are happy. When they say yes, it's the perfect time to ask them to leave a review. If you think about the airlines, yes, they ask you right out. They're going to get some good ones and they're going to get some bad ones, right? But it's that instant asking right after the time of service. And that's when they should be at their happiest, right? An example script. Joe, thank you for choosing John's Tire and Auto. We're so glad we could help you with that tire installation today. Would you be able to leave us a review on Google? We're trying to share our great service with other people in McGregor, Minnesota. Simple, short, right? Asking for them. And it just really goes back to if you don't ask, you won't get. Offer an incentive, right? The next best way to get reviews is to offer some sort of incentive. Above all else, you want to avoid saying things, leave me a review and I'll give you $50. This is not only a moral gray area, but if any of these platforms find out you're doing this, they have ways of punishing the business. I've seen removing of reviews to flagging business profiles. A few ways you can avoid those penalties are rewarding your reviewers, right? So after the fact, if they leave a review, next time you see them, make sure to give them a gift card or a percentage off a service. You could run a timed giveaway or a contest. Anyone that leaves a review in the month of March will be entered to win X. You could also donate to a charity. So every time you get a review, you're going to donate $10 to this local charity. Lastly, a free one, you can simply post those reviews with the reviewer's name and say thank you on your platforms. Public acknowledgement goes a long way. And you can put those, website, blog, social platforms. So next, we want to build review gathering into follow-up process. So we should always be building some sort of review gathering into our follow-up processes. If you have an email system set up, or newsletters, right? Any type of automation, make sure there's a step along the way that asks your customers for reviews. Usually it should be closer to the end of your interaction with that customer, so keep that in mind. So to recap, reviews. Why are recommendations on social media valuable? Well, your customers care about them. You should too. I know I always give the example of the anniversary steak dinner, right? Am I going to take my wife to a great steakhouse that has a 2 or 3 star rating? No, I want a 5-star rating. I want to make sure I have a great experience. Which platforms are most important? Facebook, Google My Business, and Yelp. How do these reviews or recommendations work on each platform? Facebook, no star rating, much more shareable. Friends can ask for recommendations. Your GMB profile, public in searches, 1 to 5 star rating. They show up on Google Maps. Yelp, public in searches, 1 to 5 star rating, and they show up in Apple Maps and Siri. How to get more reviews and recommendations? Definitely start asking your customers in person. Make it easy, offer an incentive, and build those into all your follow-ups. I want to thank everyone for their time today. We're going to go to Q&A and answer any questions that may have come in.
Great. Thanks, John. Terrific presentation and really timely, I think, right now. Obviously, alerting people about using reviews and recommendations. You see more and more of that, I imagine. Is that right?
Definitely. Through COVID, everyone being at home, having more time to do research, and now everyone getting out again. But just with everything as consumers, before you think about it, you're buying a grill, a fishing pole, you want to read those reviews, right? You don't want to have that buyer's remorse. So yes, in today's world, even more popular because we all sit at the couch at night and we're scrolling through, doing our research. It's made it easier than ever. Don't have to drag the laptop out anymore.
No, that's right. Get right from our phone or from our iPad or whatever it happens to be. As John mentioned, we're now ready to take questions. To submit a question, you can email us at tbevents@crane.com. That's tbevents@crane.com. You'll see the chiro below that has that on there. Or if you're watching along on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, you can also submit a question via those platforms. John, curious, if you had one platform to choose from, what would be the most important to respond to?
Well, that is a great question. I think everyone has their own opinion, but mine would be definitely your Google My Business profile. Google is still the #1 search platform. It's where people go to find business information. They trust it. So I would definitely say Google My Business.
Yeah, that's the one that people are watching and responding to a lot more than anything else. If you're especially if you're looking for new vendors, I imagine, right?
Yes.
Is there a certain length the response needs to be for this?
We always train our staff to use the appropriate response with how the review was left, right? We focus on keyword response. So if someone uses their vehicle, hey, I brought in my Ford F-150. I got those new Bridgestone Alenza tires. It was a great experience, right? So we tried to use, obviously, the customer's name. We use their vehicle again. We use the services that were performed because, as we've shown, the search engines, especially Google, is even starting to bring in Facebook reviews into their SERP, which is those search engine ranking pages.
Ah,
So people that are searching for, great tire installation for my Ford F-150 near me, it's starting to bring in Facebook reviews matching those keyword searches into a Google search.
oh,
That's how important these recommendations have become. So, it's really cross-platform advertising. So a great question. I mean, it could be short. If someone just leaves a 5-star review, thanks for the 5-star review, Joe. See you next time. Right? It can be short and sweet, but use that customer's name and make them feel, that gratitude, right, for coming in.
I just want to clarify, saying if I leave a great review on Facebook for a tire dealer, for a tire shop, it might end up crossing over to Google too and be shown there and other platforms. You're seeing that?
Yeah. Facebook is I guess like an authoritative site that Google looks at to validate business information. So if it can keep people on the Google platform and display that information, it helps both, right? That customer isn't leaving Google and they're able to read both those recommendations and those Google reviews right from the same platform, which is great.
I want to get into a little bit. You talked about getting a favorable review and what you need to do, and you mentioned after the service is performed, right away asking for it, doing that. How forward should you be on this? As far as should you be a little careful how you pose that to somebody? So, I mean, when do you do it? When do you not do it? And that kind of thing.
Well, I think you have to know your counter people, right?
Yeah.
You know who's good on the phones, who's not good on the phones, right? You don't answer the phones anymore. You answer the phones. It's the same thing with that counter help. Hopefully our people are enjoyable at the counter. We're training them how to talk to our customers when they come in. But that example that I used, I mean, as a consumer myself, I'm 46. I'm a Google review person. I leave a lot of reviews because I know that positive impact, how it can help a local business. And I live in a town of 400 people. So a great review can really help impact when people are coming here traveling. But great question, Joe. And there's a lot of different ways of going about that.
Yeah, I mentioned you said that 82% of people are looking at online reviews. So I imagine they're accustomed to submitting them too, more so. Is that right? That people are also more, they don't mind you asking, in other words, right?
Yeah, definitely not. And I mean, if you think of that scenario, if you know your good customers, right? I know Joe, you're my repeat customer.
Yeah.
You come in, Joe, thanks for getting your thing. Here's your vehicle. There's some kind words exchanged. At that time, I'm just, Joe, hopefully you had a great experience at the shop today. We're trying to get more Google reviews to try to tell everyone else in town that we have great service to offer, right? We have these great tire promotions that you were able to take advantage of today. Do you think you could share that experience on Google? It would be greatly appreciated, right?
Oh, absolutely. You also briefly mentioned search engines and that kind of thing for, finding shops near me and all of that. Is there some good ways to get to the top of the search engine if they're looking for something so you're not buried beneath other shops, I guess, anyway?
I've been asked that question a lot over the years. If you knew the magic ingredient to get to the top of Google, we would anyways, but
right.
I think what we always go back to, Joe, is frequency and consistency. And the consistency is the most important. You have to respond to all your reviews. It's not just respond to the good ones, right? We have to respond to the bad ones. And you have to respond to all of them, right? So you can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then miss a couple because you're on vacation for a week. Then you come back, right? Those search engines look at all that, and that's how detailed it's become. It looks at those keywords that are being used. So all of it goes back into what I call that Google algorithm, right? It's looking at how many times you update your website. It's looking at how many times you're posting to Facebook. It's looking at how many times you're updating your Google My Business platform, right? And it starts creating an algorithm. And those points, every time you update something and more consistent, they're going to rank you higher. And that's just the reality. People that are more engaged with their business online, they're going to have better results because Google wants to show you websites and reviews that are going to keep you on their platform. So if they give you a great website that answers your question as a customer, you're going to stay on that website, right? You're going to have a good experience and you're going to go go back to Google next time.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. So in other words, to clarify, you're mentioning if the more reviews you get on there, and the more people are using your site to do that kind of thing, maybe the better chance you have of helping get to the top of the search engine, or getting near the top of the search engine anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And it's complicated. We could have a whole day workshop on that one, but that's a great point. I always tell people, even if you can dedicate 10 minutes a day, right? Just look through your reviews. All these platforms make it very easy now, right from your phone. Your Google My Business Manager, your Facebook Manager, those are all accessible right through your phone, right? And you can get notifications when those reviews come in. So as a business owner, or as a shop manager, if you have a second in command, if you trust them, you have two people that are getting those notifications, so you don't miss those reviews, right? And of course, if you need someone to help you with that, give me a call. I'll give you a free digital assessment.
Excellent. That's perfect. You also mentioned that recommendations are becoming a more popular area, at least on Facebook anyway. And I see them up there for Starbucks or cars or any kind of businesses anyway. But what's the most effective way to get those recommendations? You mentioned contests and some other areas. Is there something that's been really effective, or good examples of what's been really effective at getting people to recommend your shop?
Yeah, a big one recently that I've seen a lot of is the charity. I think that's a great way, because if you think about just in your local community, how many great things that are going on that people are trying to give back to, reach out to your local fire department, something like that, right? How can we help the community? Giving back, for example, donating Little League baseball jerseys, right? Something like that. So on your Facebook page and on your social platforms, hey, for every review that we get during the month of April, we're going to give $10 to this charity. And then we share those, amongst the different platforms. And it's a great thing that your community starts talking about. And then what happens? They start sharing it, right? Each one of us has about 350 friends on average on Facebook. You share that to 2, 3, 4, 5 friends. That's how things go viral in your community, and great word of mouth. And again, it goes back to, how do we share our business, right? Through word of mouth, trust in the automotive industry. So
yeah, definitely.
That was a great
John,
question.
we're almost out of time. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience?
I think it just goes back to that last point. Consumers value these reviews. I had a great colleague a long time ago that, when I was selling websites, and you would talk about your domain name, your website address, right? You have 2 addresses in this world, Joe, your physical address and your online address. And I guarantee they're visiting your online address first. And now with the power of reviews, for some of our customers, they've been in business 20, 30 years. Your business now boils down to a star rating on Google. And we know one bad recommendation, if it's not responded to, can really impact how your other customers are seeing or perceiving your business, right? So just make sure, if you don't have the time, that you hire someone or ask someone to monitor those reviews for you, because it's your online reputation. So thank you, everyone, for your time today. Great questions. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, John, for helping us understand how to use social media and gain reviews with reviews and recommendations. And I want to mention that John's email address, if you want to ask him additional questions, is on the screen. So feel free to reach out to John if you have any more questions or want more information about Optimize Social Media and what they do. He'll be glad to help you out. Today's Ask the Expert will also be available for viewing on the events section of Tire Business's website. I'm Joe Pryweller with the Crane Global Polymer Group and Tire Business. Thanks for joining us again. I want to again thank Optimize Social Media for sponsoring this Ask the Expert session. We'll end with another word from Optimize, and we'll see you soon.